Good morning, students. Class 10th, Social Science, Economics. We will continue with chapter 2nd, Sectors of Indian Economy. Yesterday we studied about the three sectors, namely primary, secondary and tertiary sectors in India. We studied the basic definitions of these three sectors. The primary sector is also called as agricultural and related sector. The secondary sector, that is also called as industrial sector. The tertiary sector, or you can say the service sector. The second topic of the day was the value of final goods and services. No matter in how many steps, in how many stages the process of manufacturing ends, but the value of intermediaries goods will not be added to ascertain the monetary value of the final goods and service, but excluding the monetary value of intermediary goods, the monetary value of the final good is considered, will be added, and that will be called as GDP, gross domestic product. Today we are going to study the importance of primary, secondary and tertiary sectors in India. Graph 1, the graph which is on page number 24, if you see it, the graph shows the three different sectors with different colors: primary sector, secondary sector and the tertiary sector. Primary sector is shown by that purple color, secondary sector is shown by the pink, and you see in 11-12 the three sectors are compared in two different financial years, 71, 72 and 11 and 12. Graph 1 shows the production of goods and services in the three sectors. This is shown for 2 years, that is 1971, 72 and 211 and 12. You can see how total production has grown over 40 years. See the questions, let's work out these out. Answer the following questions by looking at the graph. The similar type of questions may come in the board examination. The graph will be given to you and few questions will be asked on the basis of that particular graph. Which was the largest producing sector in 1971-72? The largest producing sector, see the blue one, that is the primary sector. Question number 2, which is the largest producing sector in 11 and 12? 11 and 12, see the green part, that is the tertiary sector. Can you say which sector has grown the most over 40 years? As it is clear from the graph, the green part, that is the tertiary sector, has grown more. The reason behind it? The reason behind it, why the tertiary sector has replaced the other two, that is the secondary and the primary, because of improvement in technology, improvement in the literacy rate and improvement in the the efficiency of the worker who are skilled now. That is the main reason why there is a totally contrast in 1971, 72 and 2011 and 12. Rising importance of the tertiary sector in production. Over the 40 years between 1971-72 and 11 and 12, while production in all the three sectors has increased, You can say if you compare the data of 71, 72 and 2011 and 12, there is a considerable increase in all the three. The primary sector has also improved, the secondary sector has also improved, and the tertiary sector has also improved. It has increased the most in the tertiary sector. Tertiary sector has improved more if we compare the data of 71, 72 with that of 11 and 12. As a result, in the year 2011-12, the tertiary sector has emerged as the largest producing sector in India, replacing the primary. Why is the tertiary sector becoming so important in India? What is the reason behind it? I informed you, I taught you earlier why this contrast is there when we compare 71, 72 and 2011-12 data. First, the reason why it is so. In any country, several services such as hospitals, educational institutes, post and telegraph services, police stations, courts, village administration office, municipal corporation, defense, transport, banks, insurance companies, etc. are required. So, with the change of the time, the technology is improving, and other parts of the tertiary sector, they are also coming ahead, like administration, offices, municipal corporation, defense. These all are professions which are included in the tertiary sector and gaining importance day by day. The people are not, the youth, they are not giving importance to the agriculture, but they are moving, they are attracted toward the tertiary sector. These can be considered as the basic services. In a developing country, the government has to take responsibility for provision of these services. If a country want to be categorized under developed nations, then they have to emphasis on the tertiary sector. If a country is dependent on agriculture, that country can never be called as developed country. Second reason why tertiary sector has gained importance. The development of agriculture and industry leads to the development of the services such as the transport, trade, storage, and like as we have already seen. The development of primary and secondary sector has naturally given a flip to the tertiary sector. Greater the development of the primary and secondary sector, more would be the demand for such services. It means that the repercussion of the development of the first sector, that is primary sector, is clearly seen on the other two sectors. Third, as income level rise, certain section of the people start demanding many more services like eating out, tourism, shopping, private hospitals, private schools, professional trainings, etc. Now, the people with the improving standard of life, they need more and more facilities, basic facilities and luxurious facilities also. So, that effect give expansion to tertiary sector more and more. You can see this change quite sharply in the cities, especially in the big cities. Fourth, over the past decade or so, certain new services such as those based on information and communication technology have become important and essential. Technology, communication, computer, these are the services which were not present there at the time of independence. But now these are gaining importance. The IT department especially, it is also a part of the tertiary sector. The production of these services has been rising rapidly. In chapter 4, we shall see examples of the new services and reason for their expansion. However, you must remember that not all the services sector is growing equally well. Service sector in India employs many different kinds of people. At one end, there are a limited number of services that employ highly skilled and educated workers. At the other end, there are a very large number of workers engaged in services such as small shopkeepers, repair person, transport person, etc. These people barely manage to earn a living, and yet they perform these services because no alternative opportunities for work are available to them. Hence, only a part of this sector is growing in importance. Only that section of the population gains importance in tertiary sector, those who are skilled, those who are specialized in some or the other service. Hence, only a part of the sector is growing in importance. Only a part of the sector. Which part? The part which is skilled, the part which is literate. You shall read more about this in the next session. Where are most of the people employed? In which sector? In primary, secondary and tertiary. In which sector most of the people are employed and why? The reason behind it. Graph 2. See on the page, graph 2 presents percentage share of the three sectors. Percentage, what percent of the population is engaged in the primary, what percent of the population they are engaged in the secondary, and what percent of the population is engaged in the tertiary sector. Graph second present percentage share of three sectors in GDP. Now you can directly see the changing importance of the other sectors over 40 years. See 1971-72 and 11 and 12. The primary sector was the largest in 71-72. The secondary sector was less than that, and tertiary sector was almost equal in 1971-72. But still, you see the primary sector is more than the other two. If you go to the data of 11 and 12, you see that the situation is opposite. See, the primary sector has reduced to 10%, whereas the secondary sector has reduced to 20%, and see the change, see the considerable significant change in the tertiary sector. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%. 50% of the population is engaged in the tertiary sector. A remarkable fact about India is that while there has been change in the share of three sectors in GDP, a similar shift has not taken place in employment. Now, the employment is another factor which is going to play an important role here. Graph 3 shows, here the graph in itself, the graph 2 shows that what percentage of employment, what is the percentage of employment which these three sectors are offering to the population. In 1911-12, you see the maximum percentage of the people are engaged in the tertiary sector, and at the second place the primary sector is there, and the last the primary sector is there. So in 1971-72, the data is totally opposite of it. Why did the similar shift out of primary sector happen in case of employment? It is because not enough jobs are created in the secondary and tertiary sector. As the tertiary sector is gaining importance, it is expanding more opportunities for employment also. Though industrial output or the production of goods went up more than 9 times during the period, employment in the industry went up by around 3 times. The same applies to the tertiary sector as well. While production in the service sector rose by more than 14 times, employment in the service sector rose around 5 times. The service sector is improving. Service sector has a tremendous improvement in comparison to the primary and the secondary, and it is offering more employment opportunities other than the primary and the secondary sector. As a result, more than half of the workers in the country are working in the primary sector, mainly in agriculture. Now here the problem is still today 50% of the people are engaged in the primary sector in India. The reason behind it, unemployment. The reason behind it, they are not able to get employment opportunities. As a result, more than half of the workers in the country are working in the primary sector, mainly in agriculture, producing only a quarter of GDP. In contrast to this, the secondary and tertiary sector produce 3/4 of the production, whereas they employ less than half of the people. See the comparison of, in spite of more population is engaged in the primary sector, They are not able to generate GDP more than secondary and tertiary sector, in spite of large percentage of population engaged in it. Reason? Unemployment, underemployment. Does this mean that the worker in agriculture sector are not producing as much as they could? Yes, of course. They are not producing. More and more people, in spite of high percentage of people are engaged in agriculture, but still the agricultural sector or the primary sector is not generating employment or not generating the output. It is quite natural. If more people, if 50% of the population in comparison to secondary and tertiary sector are engaged in agriculture, then what should be the result? More output, more production in agriculture, but it is not like that. It is totally opposite. More people are engaged, but lesser output is there. Less number or less amount of population is there in secondary and tertiary sector, but more output is there. Clear? That is called underemployment. What it means is that there are more people in agriculture than is necessary. There are more number of people, more people than what is required. If 5 members are there in the family, what they think? Why to go to do service? Why to go to do the job in cities? We do have sufficient enough amount of land, agricultural land, and let us all engage in this same activity. But the production is not so good. So even if you move a few people out, production will not affect. In other words, workers in agriculture sectors are underemployed. If 10 people are engaged, 10 people of a family are engaged in agriculture, the output is same to the second condition, where if 3 people are removed from that, out of 10, if 3 are removed, the remaining 7 are giving same output. It means the agricultural sector in India is engaging people more than what is required. That is underemployment. For instance, take a case of small farmer Lakshmi, owning about 2 hectares of unirrigated land, dependent only on rain, growing crops like jowar and arhar. All 5 members of the family works in the plot throughout the year. Why? They don't have. Why they are working? Why the other 5 members are working in the agricultural land, Lakshmi? Because they don't have job opportunities in the cities and towns. Therefore, कुछ नहीं होने से तो कुछ तो अच्छा है कर रहे हैं. They have nowhere else to go for work. You'll see that everyone is working, none remain idle, but in actual fact, their labor efforts gets divided. All are working hard, but still the output remains same. Each one is doing some work, but no one is fully employed. This is the situation of underemployment, where people are apparently working, but all of them are made to work less than their potentials. अपनी पूरी क्षमता से वो काम नहीं कर रहे हैं. 10 जनों का एक काम दे दीजिए. Too many cooks spoil the broth. 10 जने रसोई में घुस जाएंगे तो वो काम को बिल्कुल ही सत्यानाश कर देंगे. This kind of unemployment is hidden in contrast to someone who does not have a job and is clearly visible as unemployed. Hence, it is also called as disguised unemployment. Disguised is something which is deceiving you, something which is not clear to you. That is disguised, hidden. It seems to them, it seems to the 10 members in a family that they all are employed. They all are employed in the work of agriculture, and the output remains same if 3 are removed from there. It means that 3 which are there, they are underemployment. It seems to them as if they are employed, but they are not making any difference to the output. That is called even it seems to them they are employed, but they are not employed, they are just adding the number. That is called as hidden employment or disguised employment. I repeat, disguised employment is a situation of employment where the person seems that he is employed, but he is not adding anything to the output. Even if he is removed, then also the output remains same. That is the situation of hidden employment or disguised employment. It is a very important question from the board point of view. Define disguised employment with the help of an example. Now supposing a landlord Sukhram comes and hires one of two members of the family to work on his land. Now out of the 5 members of Lakshmi's family, 2 are removed, 2 are given work opportunity in the form of Sukhram. Lakshmi's family is now able to earn some extra income through wages. Now those 2 members are earning and they are contributing to the family's income. But in the previous case, when those 2 were working in the same land, they are not making any difference in the income of the family. But now as soon as they are removed, it means in agriculture sector, in the primary sector, if the 10 members in a country they are employed in a farm and yet they are not making any difference, whether they are removed from there, 2 or 3 are removed, then also the output remains same. Now 2 members are removed and they are engaged in some extra work on Sukhram's farm, and now they are contributing more to their family. Since you do not need 5 people to look after that small plot, 2 people moving out does not affect production on their farm. In the above example, 2 people may move to work in the factory. Once again, the earning of the family would increase and they would also contribute to production as much from the land. Now rest 3 are making good. They are generating income from agricultural sector by working on their agricultural farm, because now they have to do with a greater responsibility. The example was given to you, too many broths spoil the cook, too many cooks spoil the broth. But nobody works. If an assignment is given to 10 people, that assignment would never be completed, because each one of them is passing the buck now. He says he will do, he says he will do, he says he will do, a common practice of the day. It is a common practice in every sector. Now, if the same assignment is given to 2 people, I hope that assignment will be completed in time. There are lakhs of farmers like Lakshmi in India. This means that even if we remove a lot of people from the agriculture sector and provide them with the proper work elsewhere, the agriculture production will not suffer. The income of the people who takes up work would increase and increase the total family income. This underemployment can also happen in other sectors. The same case may take place, same problem of underemployment, of hidden or disguised unemployment may occur in the other 2 sectors. Is it clear to you which are the other 2 sectors, the primary and the secondary? For example, there are thousands of casual workers in the service sector in urban areas who search for daily employment. They are employed as painters, plumbers, repair person and others doing odd jobs. Many of them don't find work every day. Similarly, we see other people of the service sector on the street pushing a cart or selling something where they may spend the whole day but earn a very little. They are doing this work because they do not have better opportunities. Means unemployment. What define unemployment? Unemployment is a situation where a person don't get job according to his qualification, but he is engaged in some or the other work so as to earn from hand to mouth. That is unemployment. According to the qualification, according to the skill, according to the education, a person, if he don't get job, but for time pass he is doing some other job where he is not satisfied, where he is not contented, then that is the case of unemployment. How to create more employment? Simple, it is a simple question. How to create more employment? Define unemployment, mention the causes of unemployment and suggest measures to remove unemployment. It is an important question, a detailed question. Second question, define disguised unemployment, explained with the help of example. These are the two important questions. Okay students, that's all. We will start the second topic, how to create more employment, tomorrow. We'll see. Okay.